Welcome to Top 10 Amazing Facts. Today we're diving into one of the most mysterious and infamous places in the United States, Alcatraz Island. From legendary escapes to ghostly legends, this 22-acre rocky island in the San Francisco Bay has fascinated the world for decades. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a new countdown. Now, let's unlock the secrets of Alcatraz. Fact number 10. The name comes from a bird. The name Alcatraz comes from the Spanish word alcatraces, meaning pelicans. Spanish explorer Juan Manuel de Ayala charted the island in 1775 and named it for the large seabirds that nested there. Long before it was a prison, it was simply known as Pelican Island. Fact number 9. It was once a military fortress. Before it became a federal prison, Alcatraz served as a military fort in the mid-1800s. This fort included a citadel, a lighthouse, and other buildings. Equipped with cannons and defensive walls, it was designed to protect the San Francisco Bay during the Gold Rush era. It later became a military prison before the federal government took it over in 1934. Fact number 8. Alcatraz had the first civilian lighthouse on the West Coast. Before it became a fortress or prison, Alcatraz was home to the first lighthouse on the U.S. West Coast, built in 1854. It helped guide ships safely into the San Francisco Bay during the California Gold Rush. Although the original structure was damaged in the 1906 earthquake, a new lighthouse still stands today, right next to the former prison. Fact number 7. The prison was nearly escape-proof. Surrounded by icy waters and strong currents, Alcatraz was considered impossible to escape. Guards believed that even if prisoners got past the walls, the cold Pacific would finish the job. But that didn't stop some from trying. In June 1962, 3 inmates, Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin, made a daring escape using a raft made of raincoats. They left dummy heads in their beds to fool guards. The FBI searched for years, but they were never found. To this day, it's unclear whether they drowned or disappeared forever. Fact number 6. It held some of America's most notorious criminals. Alcatraz was home to some of the most feared criminals in U.S. history, including Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, and Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. Here are some key facts about 3 of Alcatraz's most notorious prisoners. Al Capone. The infamous Chicago gangster was convicted of tax evasion and sent to Alcatraz in 1934. He spent 5 years on the island before being transferred due to deteriorating health. While at Alcatraz, he was reportedly a model prisoner and even played banjo in the prison band known as the Rock Islander. Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz. Stroud was convicted of murdering a bartender in 1909 and later killed a prison guard while incarcerated. He spent 30 years studying birds at Leavenworth Prison before being transferred to Alcatraz in 1942, where he was not allowed to keep birds. He remained in solitary confinement until 1959 and later died in 1963. George Machine Gun Kelly. A Prohibition-era gangster, Kelly was convicted of kidnapping oil tycoon Charles Urschel in 1933. He was sent to Alcatraz in 1934 and spent 17 years there before being transferred to Leavenworth, where he died in 1954. These men were some of the most infamous criminals to serve time at Alcatraz and were considered too dangerous or disruptive for other prisons. Fact number 5. The prison guards and their families lived on the island. During its operation from 1934 to 1963, about 300 civilians lived on the island, with 60 to 80 children at any given time. Life for these families was surprisingly normal. They had a post office, a general store, and even an officers' club where residents could bowl, dance, and work out. Children played games, fished, and even participated in ballet classes. A motor launch ferry made 20 trips per day between Alcatraz and San Francisco, allowing families to commute for school and shopping. Despite living next to some of America's most dangerous criminals, residents reported feeling safe, as prisoners were kept strictly confined. It was a unique community, almost like a small town in the middle of the bay. Fact number 4. Native Americans occupied the island in protest. The occupation of Alcatraz was a significant protest by Native American activists that lasted for approximately 19 months from November 20th, 1969 to June 11th, 1971. A group called Indians of All Tribes, led by figures like Richard Oakes, Lynetta Means, and John Trudell, took control of the island, arguing that under the 1868 Treaty of Fort Laramie, abandoned federal land should be returned to indigenous peoples. The occupation began with 89 Native Americans landing on Alcatraz, and at its peak, hundreds of activists lived on the island. The occupiers established a community, held cultural ceremonies, and initiated educational program. They aimed to raise awareness about the struggles of Native Americans and demand better treatment from the U.S. government. The protest gained national attention and inspired future indigenous rights movements. Fact number 3. It's now a protected national park. Today, Alcatraz is part of the Golden Gate National Recreation Area, managed by the National Park Service. Visitors can reach the island by a 15-minute ferry ride each way. The tour of the island takes approximately 2.5 to 3 hours and offers visitors a unique glimpse into the infamous former federal prison. Visitors can explore the island and learn about Alcatraz's history through various exhibits and programs. It takes you through the cell house, using an audio guide to share the stories of former inmates. Over 1.5 million people visit each year to walk its eerie cell blocks and enjoy stunning views of the bay. Fact number 2. The first inmates built their own prison. Alcatraz's prison building was constructed between 1910 and 1912, when the island was still a military prison. The inmates at the time were forced to build their own cells, laying bricks, installing bars, and constructing the 3-story cell house. When Alcatraz transitioned to a federal penitentiary in 1934, the Bureau of Prisons strengthened the cell bars to prevent escapes. The prison had 4 main cell blocks, A to D, with D block housing the worst inmates in solitary confinement. The cells were small and primitive, measuring 9 feet by 5 feet, with only a bed, desk, wash basin, and toilet. Despite the harsh conditions, some inmates considered Alcatraz preferable to other federal prisons because they had individual cells, reducing the risk of violence. Fact number 1. It was closed because it was too expensive. On March 21st, 1963, Alcatraz was shut down not because of escapes, but because of high operational cost. The harsh salt air corroded buildings and transporting food and supplies by boat was too expensive. It was nearly 3 times more expensive to operate than other federal prisons. It simply wasn't worth the price to keep it running. There you have it, 10 facts about Alcatraz that reveal its mysteries, legends, and history. Which fact shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more amazing facts every day. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.